Good morning and happy Sunday. I would like to greet and welcome you this morning to our Play and Learn series and to this lovely bright day that we're experiencing. Probably supposed to be a little warm, but little warm's okay. So I'm Dr. Susan, and I'm happy you're here with me this morning. And we are going to take a look at a very different way in which to create. We all create in very, very many and varied ways. So today we're going to be reading a story, and the story is called Ish, I-S-H. And it's about a little boy and how he loves to draw. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into the story, and then we'll talk about a way that I thought about using the word Ish, all right? So we're going to step into the story. All right. We're getting our story ready. I guess we're going to have some help from Greg. Yeah, that's what I'm pushing. But I'm not getting a light. There it is. Here we are. We're back now. All right, let's start with the story. Okay, this is story time, and our book is Ish, and it is by Peter Reynolds. So here we go. Let's see what this little guy is going to do with us today. Raymond loved to draw, and it looks like he loves to paint too. Anytime, anything, anywhere. An interesting place of where. One day, Raymond was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother, Leon, leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out laughing. "What is that?" he asked. Raymond could not even answer. He just crumpled up the drawing and threw it across the room. Leon's laughter haunted Raymond. He kept trying to make his drawings look just right, but they never did. After months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Raymond put his pencil down and said, "I'm done." Marisol, his sister, was watching him. "What do you want?" he snapped. "I was watching you draw," she said. Raymond sneered. "I'm not drawing. Go away." Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. "Hey, come back here with that." Raymond raced after Marisol, up the hall and into her room. He was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery. "Those must be all his pictures." "This is one of my favorites," Marisol said, pointing. "That was supposed to be a vase of flowers," Raymond said, "but it doesn't look like one." "Well, it looks vase-ish," she explained. "Vase-ish?" Raymond looked closer. Then he studied all the drawings on Marisol's wall and began to see them in a whole new way. "They do look ish," he said. Raymond felt light and energized. Thinking ishly allowed his ideas to flow freely. He began to draw what he felt. Loose lines quickly springing out without any worry. Raymond once again drew and drew the world around him. Making an ish drawing felt wonderful. He filled his journals. Let's see what he put in his journals. He put in a tree-ish, a house-ish, a boat-ish, an afternoon-ish. I wonder what his afternoon was about. Fishes, sun-ish, What do you think his afternoon was about with that picture that you see? Raymond realized he could draw ish feelings too. Oh, that's a cool one at the top. Peace-ish, silly-ish, excited-ish. His ish inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poemish. Let's see, it says ponder, ponder, dream yonder, ponder, ponder, yonder, ponder, gleam, wander. Raymond. That's an interesting poem. One spring morning, Raymond had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. With that, he's enjoying looks like he's sitting on a rock with his feet in the water, enjoying the sunshine. So actually, he was becoming part of his own picture. And Raymond lived ishfully ever after. And there he goes with his drawing pad and his pencil. The end. Okay, we got one more click. All right. That was a cute story. I like the story very, very much. And I often wonder sometimes, have you ever thought of how creative you were? From maybe even the way you dress. Do you dress creatively? Maybe not necessarily matching your shirt and your pants or your shirt and your skirt and your shoes and your socks and be matchy-matchy, they say. And dressing creatively can be very fun. You can do all kinds of things with that. And what other ways can you be creative? Have you ever helped Mom cook in the kitchen? And I wonder what this would taste like. So maybe you take some different flavors and you mix them together. Or you just add them have them separately on a dish, but try them together. Like maybe cheese, maybe olives on top of your crackers. Or what else could you put on top of your crackers? Or different kinds of things. Like peanut butter on a cracker with a banana, butter banana cracker. That's different, and it's creative. It's a creative way to use food to make your life a little bit more fun and adventuresome. So creativity, different directions. And one of the things that Raymond found is that someone said or laughed at what he thought was very important, the important work that he was doing. It kind of hurt his feelings and his confidence. It made him feel like he wasn't a good drawer anymore, or artist, however he classed himself. And because he couldn't make it look exactly perfect. And I guess exactly perfect to Raymond, at least I think, is that when you looked at his picture, it would look just like the vase of flowers that he had sitting on the table. And when he looked at his picture, it didn't look like the vase of flowers. So he didn't think he did it right. And he thought that's why Leon was laughing at him, because it didn't look like a vase of flowers. Yet, there was his little sister, Marisol, and she thought it was absolutely wonderful by taking all of his crumbled up pieces of paper and taping on her wall. So she had an art gallery. She had a Raymond art gallery in her bedroom, which was really a very nice compliment for Raymond. So even though someone may not see what you're doing exactly the same way, and sometimes they laugh, and you know, I guess everybody has a way of expressing their feelings. But the one thing in the story it didn't talk about, it didn't say whether he was angry at Raymond, or angry at Leon, sorry. Angry at Leon because Leon laughed at his art. It's just that it cut down his confidence in what he was doing. So he just decided he just can't make it perfect, so he just wasn't going to do it. Yet, his little sister showed him that it doesn't matter what somebody else says or thinks about it. They're going to see it differently. And this is exactly how Raymond felt. Is he just felt, well, if I can't do it exactly right, why would we do it? Sometimes when we do something creative and have a lot of fun with it, It's because we receive something from it, or we're giving something from ourselves. When you have a creative thought or an idea to try something, and you do it, and it comes out how you feel, oh, it's really beautiful, and somebody criticizes it and says, well, it isn't. But that doesn't diminish or say that what you did isn't wonderful. It's the confidence you have in yourself. And if it looks like a vase of flowers that maybe the vase is crooked or the flowers don't have the right size petals, doesn't really matter. It's the fact that you did it, and it was something that came from your heart and your mind, and you put it on a piece of paper, which is lots of different ways that we create. Like I said, you can be creative in your dress. You can be creative in cooking. You can be creative in lots and lots of things. Writing his poems. I loved his poem. That was a cute poem. And like he said, he didn't know if he was doing it right or if he was writing poems, but it felt poemish to him. So the idea of using the word ish is that it might not be exactly what you may see in real life, but it's an idea of what he saw. So thinking about that, I wondered how I could take that idea and be creative for myself. And I'm sure everybody knows how to do something like that. And if you have the idea that you can't draw or you can't paint or you can't this because it doesn't look perfect, put that thought aside and just do it. See what happens with it. So we're going to do some of that this morning. So if you have a pencil and paper that's close by you and you can get, maybe we can do this together this morning. So what I did is I took the piece of paper that I have, and I'm going to show you this way like this, and I wrote the word ish on it. You can't see the rest of the drawing yet, but we'll draw that together so you can see what my idea was of how I think I can draw. I'm not the best drawer in the world, but I can do some things. So I'm going to put it down here so you can see it on the table. But you see the word I-S-H. So we're going to make this an ish drawing. And inside this, there is 4 different objects that I used. And what I did is I just drew lines, and I connected the lines, and I'm going to trace over some of them right now, and then color them in so that you can kind of get a feel for what that's like. So if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, or even just a marker, it doesn't matter, go ahead and write the word ish. You can print it if you don't want to use script writing. I use script writing, and just write ish on your piece of paper, anywhere. It doesn't matter where it is on the piece of paper. And we're going to take some lines going from the word ish all over the paper. So this is the first thing that I did, and I decided I would see if I could find 4 things in my picture. So I'm going to take my black marker and go over the first thing. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see the lines or not because it is in pencil and it's on white paper, but we'll go this way and see how it's going to do. And I'm sorry I'm not looking at you while I'm doing this. That might be an interesting drawing, wouldn't it? Just drawing without looking? That might be kind of cool. So anyway, so I took the word ish and I started over here, and you'll see it come about. This is the first thing that I decided to make out of that part of the word ish. Okay? So you might be able to see what this is already. And then I'm going to add some color to it so you'll get a better definition of what this is. Okay, so there's that. And even if you do it with pencil and go over it with marker, you don't have to keep the lines the same. They can be different. So I wanted you to see how you can do this. And this is all if you want to. And even if you have the pencil mark still showing, that doesn't really matter. So the first thing that I created out of that was I created a flower. Here's the stem, and there's the leaves, and this is the center of the flower right here, and then I made more petals around here. So you can see that. So You can just draw your lines any old way you want to. It doesn't necessarily have to be a drawing or a thought of what that might be. When you start to color in your lines, you might be able to create something very interesting, like maybe a dinosaur or a dog or a cat or whatever you want to create. But the first one that I found that I did was a flower. And that came out of the word ish. This is the H. One of the petals is the H, as you can see that. Okay? So I'm just going to take just a minute, and I'm going to, I think I'll make this a purple flower with a yellow center. So I'm just going to color really fast. I'm not going to color all in the lines. I'll finish that later. But I'm just going to color this part. These are all the petals to my flower. Just like that. And this is a fun little project to do. You can do it on paper. You can use markers. You can use colored pencils. You can use just about anything. So there's pretty much the flower. And I want a sunny center, a yellow center. I think you can see this like that. There's the center. And then we have the stem. I think I'm going to do the stem in a different color, green. Flower stems aren't necessarily brown. So I'm going to do the flower. This is the stem. And this is the leaf. And then I'll pick some black background colors to go around the flower to make it like a frame. But that's the flower out of the H. Okay? So now, then I also thought, well, when Raymond did it, he did a vase. So how about I create a vase with that? So that's what I did. So I'm going to show you the outline of the vase that the flower is in. Okay? So it kind of goes around like this. I'll just kind of do the outside part, and then we'll fill in the other part. And it's not necessarily the absolute frame of a vase, but you'll get to see it. So there's the basic line of the vase, right there. Then I took other lines that I made off of the stem, and I created other lines, because I want this to be a very colorful vase. So like that. And you can use many colors as you'd like. Or you can just do it one color if you like to do that. Okay? So we have that. So I'm going to do this one in the blue. I'm not going to color it all the way in so that you can kind of get the idea. And the whole idea when we're experimenting and doing things like this is to give our creativity a chance to shine and to be something very special. Okay, and see, we did that maroony color over here. But you kind of get the idea that you can create just about anything you want. I know, have you seen some of these pictures like this? And usually they have numbers that are down at the bottom, and they tell you what colors to use so that your picture, so that you know so you know what colors go where and things like that. We have several blue areas. So there is the flower and the vase. Now, I don't want the picture just to have that in it, so I decided, what else do I think I want to see if I can find in my picture that I did? And I said, well, for flowers to grow, what do you need? You need sunshine. So I decided I would make a sun out of the I that ish starts with. So I made a circle here, another line here, and then the top, the I right there. And then I went ahead and I did the other lines. I think I should do that in black so you can actually see it, sorry. So here's the yellow. And then I went ahead and I made like sun rays. These aren't the regular sun rays that you usually see when you're drawing a sun, but they were kind of cool for me. And right at this particular point in time, I think I'm kind of the only one that really makes it, that it's really important what it looks like, because it's something I'm doing and something that came out of my imagination and my creativity. So there's the sun. Okay, here we go. And we'll fill that in really quick. So there's the sun, and it's shining on the flowers. And then, let's see, I think one of the other pictures that he did a tree. So I see, where can I do a tree? So let's go ahead and do that. So there's a tree down here. I'll mark out the tree. And then, so this is the trunk of the tree. And these are all little different areas that you can add different colors to. So there's the trunk of the tree right there. And these are the leaves of the tree. Now they go like that. But the whole idea is when you start and be creative and you're creating something, and sometimes we don't even know what it's going to be when we first start out, and it can turn into absolutely a wonderful, fun activity and a great way to express who you are. There's our tree. Okay? So there's the tree. There we go. And believe it or not, all we needed was paper and pencil and markers. You didn't have to get a lot of stuff in order to do anything with that. Okay? Now the S is simply going to be just the background. Just the background of the story. But I'm going to not color the center in because I want the word to show. So this is just called the background. And you don't have to have a background if you don't want to. You can just have a lot of white space if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to just draw the background in here a little bit. This blue color is kind of the background and kind of the way we'll create other things out of the picture. Okay, so there's our background. Now there's one more thing that I wanted to add. So I have a tree, the sun, a flower, a vase, and because we're on the nature part of this thing, I thought it might be fun. So down here, I created mountains. So I did mountains right here. And I have to share a little story with you. When I was in college and I was taking art classes, one of the things that the teacher had us do is we were going to, they have different kind of mediums. Our medium we're using today is markers and pencil. That's the medium that we're working with, and paper. So one of the things that the teacher wanted us to do was we had these big tablets, and it had like a bumpy texture on the paper. And all we were allowed to use was charcoal. It comes in a long stick like this, not the kind you put and make a fire with, but it's a long stick, and then an eraser, a special eraser that worked with charcoal. And that's all you could use. You couldn't use anything else. And you had to pick a picture, whatever picture you wanted, and you had to do that picture on your paper just with the charcoal and an eraser. And it was a lesson in shading and stuff, but that you don't need the technical stuff on that. So I created the picture that I found in a magazine that I liked, and it was of a staircase with a man and a woman sitting on the stairs. And they had gone to a party, so they were all dressed up. So I had done what the teacher asked us to do, and then I hadn't gotten back to the project to finish it. And I went over to a friend's house with my parents, and I took it with me. I figured, well, I could get it finished while I was there. And while I'm working on it, the lady that we were visiting came up to me and she said, "Oh, that's absolutely beautiful picture." She said, "I love the two people you have sitting on the stairs." And she said, "I would like to buy that." And I looked at her and I thought, well, that's kind of strange. What do you mean you want to buy it? It's not done. Yes, it is. So here tells you that what you see and what someone else sees is totally different. She thought it was a finished picture. All I had shaded in was the man's head and his shoulders and stuff and her dress. I didn't have her head done yet. And she says, "Oh no," she said, "her head is laying against his shoulder." That's what she saw. That's not what I drew, but that's what she saw. And she absolutely loved it. So I gave her the picture because she really liked it. And that was how she perceived what I did. And it was the same way with Leon. Of course, Leon didn't know what that was, so he just thought it was funny. And that's when Raymond was like, oh my gosh, it's not exactly perfect. So what does perfect mean? Perfect means just where you are. And if you have a feeling that this is complete, it looks good, it feels good, and you may not have the details done, but that doesn't mean that's what other people see. They see what they see through their perception or their ideas, and you see from your perception and your ideas. So this particular picture was the idea that I had after I read the story, and I said, oh, that might be kind of fun to try. So again, I did the mountains. There's the mountains, and I didn't get to the lake. So here's the lake that goes and runs in front of the mountains, right here. So there's thy mountains. And all the other lines that are in there are just background lines. And you can do anything you want with those. So this gives you a picture of an ish drawing with just shapes. We did a colored pencil, or not colored pencil, we did markers. So there you are. So we have a sun, we have a tree, we have a flower, and we have a vase, and we have mountains and a stream. So that was just making lines and using the idea of ish. So I hope you had some fun doing that with your pencil and paper if you had that with you this morning. But it gives you an idea of different ways in which you can create things for yourself. But the best part about creating and being creative is the fact that it comes from you. And it comes from those thoughts and those feelings inside of you. And it's just God expressing through you as creativity. And this one happened to be a drawing, but you can be creative in so many different ways. Do you know that you can be creative? Have you ever seen the guys in their skateboards and they go doing all kinds of tricks and things like that? That's creativity. That's physical creativity in the work and the activities that they're doing. And it's amazing to watch it. Somebody that does gymnastics or somebody that plays football or baseball or any of those things. That's another form of creativity. That's another form of that wonderful divine energy that flows through you, and it comes out in marvelous ways. So this week, as you go through the week, find those fun things that you really enjoy doing and be creative, even making crackers and peanut butter and having a peanut butter and cracker sandwich. So you guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week, and we'll play some more and learn a little bit more about who we are. Thanks very much for tuning in. Bye.